Welcome to this video on the emotional architecture of narrative tension. We will explore how chapters apply pressure, challenge a character's worldview, and carry consequences forward. Tension begins when events acquire personal meaning. An obstacle creates activity, but a meaningful obstacle creates tension, the kind that keeps a reader turning pages. Conflict, emotion, and tension are related, yet distinct. Conflict is opposition, emotion is evaluation, and tension is the reader's awareness of an unresolved consequence. Readers do not need to believe a story is literally real to feel it. Through imagination, we experience genuine emotions for figures we know exist only on the page. A novel does not have just one emotional arc. It is a collection of intersecting emotional journeys, where different characters may be moving in different directions simultaneously. Emotional movement is described by three dimensions: valence, arousal, and dominance. Understanding these allows us to see that true escalation involves more than just feeling worse. Every character operates from an emotional home base. Displacement occurs when an event pushes the character outside of their customary emotional range. Displacement has shape. We can measure how far a character is pushed, how quickly they react, and how they recover, or if they simply return to functioning while still carrying the emotional burden. We can track how tension accumulates by looking at 4 lines: external pressure, worldview destabilization, emotional displacement, and the recovery deficit. Worldview pressure forces us to ask, what can the character keep believing? The character will defend their governing belief long after events begin to contradict it. Worldview destabilization happens in stages. From initial confirmation through to a final crisis, the character is exhausting a survival strategy until they are forced to revise it through action. A recovery deficit ensures that consequences are carried forward. Even when a character appears to recover, they retain residue, such as suspicion or grief, that changes how they face the next event. Ultimately, escalation is a combination of pressure, meaning, and residue. Greater consequence is more important than bigger events. Even quiet moments can drastically increase tension. Formula is prescriptive, but structure is functional. Instead of dictating a specific event, a structural approach identifies what the story needs, such as increasing emotional access. Every chapter must have a job, because every chapter must change the story's state. If a chapter can vanish without moving the 4 lines of tension, it may need to be reevaluated. The OAR method serves as a chapter-level tension engine. It breaks down into observation, action, and emotional reaction, creating a causal internal structure that drives the narrative forward. Observation is never emotionally neutral. Characters interpret reality through the lens of their history and current emotional state, which directly shapes the actions they choose to take. Action makes a character's worldview visible. Whether they refuse help or act alone, these behaviors are tangible expressions of their underlying beliefs regarding their situation. An emotional reaction prevents the story from resetting. By processing the meaning of a result, the character's belief system shifts, ensuring the next chapter is impacted by the previous one. Each chapter's reaction becomes the lens for the next. This creates a chain of emotional causality, where chapters affect one another through the residue the character carries forward. Each OAR section possesses a predominant emotion. This emotion organizes the character's attention and response, guiding the transition from concern to unease, and finally to fear. A 30-chapter novel contains 90 emotional units. By breaking each chapter into 3 sections, you gain clear, manageable moments to shape the emotional trajectory of the entire work. Emotional escalation does not mean louder emotion. Instead, it involves changing qualities like control, duration, or attachment, ensuring the narrative tension grows in meaningful, varied ways. Multiple points of view create emotional counterpoint. When characters react to the same event differently, their interlocking cycles of action and observation create complex layers of narrative tension. Structure scales by proportion, not chapter count. Focus on measuring consequential turns across the story's timeline to identify vital beats like midpoint agency and the final climax. A 30-beat structure distributes the workload. While the events differ, the functional requirements of each act, from disturbing the equilibrium to testing new solutions, remain consistent. The climax tests both competence and worldview. It requires the protagonist to prove their internal change through choices made under extreme external pressure. In The Fault in Our Stars, love becomes a source of tension. While illness provides constant pressure, the story's real architecture is built by the emotional costs of intimacy. Hazel's cycle turns protection into isolation. Her belief that loving her causes pain leads her to resist intimacy, Yet her natural attachments create a persistent recovery deficit. A decisive reversal transforms their emotional trajectories. When circumstances change, Hazel must move from fearing loss to experiencing it, ultimately finding new meaning in her limited life. To test a chapter, apply the 4-line diagnostic. Ask what external condition changes, what belief interprets it, what emotion predominates, and what residue remains. If the answer is nothing, the chapter may lack the narrative movement required for a compelling story. The emotional map visualizes this structure. By tracking chapter jobs, OAR emotions, and residues across 30 chapters, you can identify missing transitions, false recoveries, and abrupt changes that a simple plot summary might conceal. Structure is the architecture of consequence. When a chain of observations, actions, and reactions accumulates, the reader no longer just witnesses events. They experience a person becoming unable to remain who they once were. This concludes our program on narrative tension. The concepts presented draw on research into emotion and literature, synthesized into practical craft methods for novelists to deepen their work.